so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life? Well, that's another, which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, before we jump into today's episode, I'd like to take about a minute and a half to tell you about a few sponsors that not only help to make it possible to produce this show 5 days a week, but that I'm also genuinely passionate about promoting. The first longtime stellar supporter of the show that I want to mention is Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online with over 8,000 video titles. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. The second sponsor I'm sincerely passionate about promoting is Purium. It's no mystery that bringing your mind, body, and spirit into balance is necessary if a person truly intends to manifest the greatest and grandest version of themselves. So if you've been looking for a way to easily get organic superfoods into your system every day with a simple plan that can help you reestablish a healthier foundation and relationship with food, like I was doing before I found Purium, I highly recommend going to positivehead.com/transformation and checking out the videos and interviews there where I dive deeply into discussions explaining why I take these products every day. And should you ultimately end up on iShopPurium.com to purchase any of their 50 plus amazing superfood products, be sure to use the code POSITIVEHEAD, all one word, for a 25% discount. All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Here we grow again. So grateful to be back with you as always. And today I am coming back off of a couple days last minute trip to Lucidity Festival, which was extra epic, always epic, super magical container for lots of transformation. And I kind of went last minute just for the final day. And it was wonderful, as you can imagine. And feeling blessed and blissed to be here. Had some cool magic to actually unfold in the last few days too, right before I left. And maybe I'll start off today sharing a little bit about that. So always good for some story time, right? You guys are up for it. Some cool happenings. So I was planning out or working through some of the logistical stuff with the Mystic Manor, which you guys are probably waiting, like, when is it going to be announced? I keep thinking it's going to be this week. I still think it's going to be this week. Hopefully next week, I'm not saying this week, and it's already, all the details have come out. But the good news is most of all the stuff that's been a setback has really been because things are shifting and expanding and, actually developing in a really good way. The delays have been really, really great. So it's been a great lesson. And it's actually some of what I want to talk about today. is this idea of letting things happen in divine timing and not forcing anything. If it's not coming, leave it alone. And that's definitely been the case with this. I mean, I originally thought a month or so ago I'd be announcing all the details, and things have been pushed back for one reason or another. But ultimately, those have led to good developments, which, has created even more of a rich experience that I'm going to be able to offer all you guys who come to the Mystic Manor and, visit me at the house and the rest of the Optimistic crew. And for those of you who are hearing about this for the first time, it's actually in regards to a new show called Optimistic, spelled MYSTIC, that we're going to be shooting. That's like a late night style talk show, consciousness related, live guests, live music, all happening out of this epic property I'm calling the Mystic Manor, beginning in July. And so super excited about it. And for those of you who are interested in coming to the Mystic Manor, and we're going to be doing 7-day retreats for a select number of people over the course of July 2019 to July 2020, and going to be announcing that, like I said, soon. I do think by the end of this week, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Something pops up that's like a logistical detail that I need to iron out before I unleash it all to all you guys. But if you're interested and you want to be on the mailing list, as soon as it's ready to go, the first thing we're going to do is send an email to everyone to sort of, since there is limited spots, give those people sort of first crack at dates and everything like that to come and be a part. You get to be on the show. You get to spend a week with me and the whole crew, and going to curate workshops and healing sessions and chef prepared meals. It's going to be super, super epic. But if you're interested, you can drop me an email, brandon@positivehead.com, and I'll let you guys know as soon as the details come out. But it is very close. And so anyway, my story, I was just sort of working through some of the issues with what's going to happen at the house, who's going to be there on a permanent basis, who's going to be there some of the time as far as the supporting crew. And there was definitely some kinks working all that out. And I worked out a big one a few days ago, and I was just in like an elated state because it had just worked out. And I was super, super excited about having worked that kink out and feeling really good about it. And the person that I had worked it out with, who was originally going to be staying there, like having their own room there, and ultimately is not because of, some of the way things unfolded. But after we sort of worked through all the kinks surrounding that, I was feeling really elated, and I'd sent this person a song that I love that's all about upgrading your life, sort of moving from becoming a cub to a lion is what it talked about. And he's a fellow Leo, and shared it with him. And then right after that, sending this song about upgrading. Someone in front of me, license plate says upgrader, of course. So I get in this very ecstatic, elated state. I start speaking out loud, thank you to Source for all the things that are manifesting and all the magic in my life. And just really, really feeling gratitude fully. And for all the things that are unfolding and coming and things that are being worked through. And then literally, so not only did the license plate thing happen right after sending that song, which was all about upgrading, then I pull in to my house. I was driving in my car, and I walk up, and there's a picture on my front steps, and someone had just randomly put a painted canvas that said Merry Christmas on it. And it actually had symbology. It had like these 5 cupcakes on a plate and then one off of the cupcake. And I instantly, like within a few minutes, tied it into, hold on, what's the symbology of this? And then there's like 5 of us that will be in the house all the time, and then one working sort of remotely, which is what I just worked through. And I was like, whoa, one is off the plate, the other 5 are on it, and it's Merry Christmas. And it was just like, who puts, it's April. Where did a Christmas picture randomly come from on my front step, And then I go meet with the person that I had been sorting out the issue with, and they have a friend with them named Nick. And then I instantly like, and this person is like super magic and lovely. And I meet this new friend right after called Nick, and I'm like, someone else points out, hey, it's Saint Nick. And I'm like, what? And we heard a Christmas song on the way going into the event. That was at Lucidity. On the way into the event, it just was like on and on. And so I don't know where that picture came from, how it ended up. Something randomly, it put it on my front doorstep at this elated moment where I was expressing so much gratitude for all the gifts that are unfolding in my life. And it's just yet another confirmation that magic is real. Probably some of you out there will have some sort of a Christmas reference now. Christmas in April reference today as a result of tapping into this thread of just magic and this idea that, Christmas is every day, right? Every day can be like Christmas if you're tuned into the right vibrational resonance. And that's really, what I want to talk about. If you're not feeling it, if it's not working, if something's not working for you, it's, this moving into the optimistic, doing the optimistic show and moving into the Mystic Manor, great example. My intention was to release all the details to you guys a month or so ago. And it wasn't quite time. I thought it was time. I wanted it to be time, but hold on, there's a kink in the road. Hold on, slow down. There's a kink. And as a result of slowing down, something better came up. Something wonderful came up that was a change for the better. That will make the experience better. That'll make the show better. That'll make it better for you guys when you visit. And so, learning to leave something alone if it isn't coming, letting it unfold in its divine timing. It is everything for us to get this down. I've started to really pay attention to my energy if I'm feeling sort of depleted or withdrawn or unsure or a little, a lot of times on Mondays I'll find I can feel that way when I first get going. It's like I've just had a few days off and now all of a sudden I'm back to a sort of a normal workflow again. And oftentimes I work on the weekends, but it's not a normal workflow and it's not as heavy as a workflow as the weekdays for me. And then just kind of like, okay, I'm moving into this heightened state of productivity and work. And sometimes it can be just a little bit daunting. And then I'll sort of get upset with myself, or not upset, but, think, you can't afford to be not high energy. And what I've started doing is really noticing when my energy isn't that high and just leaving things alone. Trusting that the best way to get things done is to relax into them. It's all going to unfold in divine timing. You don't need to sort of go all the time. You guys might know motivational speaker Jay Shetty. I heard him speaking about, he meditates 2 hours a day. And you think someone is, super busy guy, super high profile, someone actually I'd like to have on the show at some point, probably will. And, spending 2 hours, it's like the Osho statement. It's like everyone should meditate 20 minutes a day. Unless you don't have time, you should meditate an hour. And so it's really important to start fine-tuning, really tapping into the fine-tuned, subtle energies of how you're feeling. And if you're feeling sort of lower energy or depleted or anything like that, just take times for self-care. It's not, constantly trying to move things around in the physical world to get things done is not the way to get things done. It's not the most productive way. If you can move into that, the beautiful thing about being in a meditative state for 2 hours, you're in that state of quantum superposition where you are opening up to all kinds of possibilities. You're actually getting work done, As Osho also said, don't just do something, sit there. And that's what he is referencing. Like if we really, and this is, we're in a society that trains us, has taught us that you just need to be going, when really, when your energy is retractive and it's showing you that, hey, you need some self-care, you need to dial it back. That's the most productive thing that you can do. And if it's feeling like it's a struggle, give it a rest. That's a clip I'm about to share here in a minute by Esther Hicks, Abraham, and that's what it's titled. When it feels like a struggle, give it a rest, because if it's not coming, leave it alone. Focusing on the things that are working, focusing on my energy is not as high today, Monday, as it was last Thursday, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with me. I actually am being more productive by going in and taking more time for myself, knowing that there's infinite time in front of me to get it all done. These time frames that we impose on all kinds of plans that we have, it's okay to set an expectation for a time frame to get something done. But if it's not flowing for you, or something is manifesting that's showing it needs to be pushed back or reevaluated or reassessed or restructured, that's part of the flow of how everything unfolds in your life. I mean, think about it. Hardly anything has ever happened to you that just unfolded exactly like you thought it would at the front. Probably never, right? And yet we continue to have these rigid ideas about timeframes and how it's going to manifest and the way and path it's going to come. Really, your job is to just follow what you're feeling in each moment with every plan that it could shift on you. And if you can be that fluid and flow in your way of navigating, that's graceful. That's with ease. That's how you create with grace and ease. And if you're constantly holding to a rigid idea or time frame or view of how you think it's supposed to manifest, man, you're in for a bumpy ride, because that's not really how it works. That's not how the universe brings things to you. Your job becomes to just reassess. It's all feedback. Oh, the feedback's telling me shift, course correct. Oop, course correct. Oh, delay. Oh, self-care. Oop, dial back. Okay, go within. Meditate some more. Okay, slow down. I don't have to get it all done today. All I have to do is know the next step and listen to the subtle energies, what is being shown to me in each given minute. And if you learn how to just constantly tune back in to the subtle energies that are coming through you, they're guiding you on what you need to do next. And so much of the time, it's not, move things around in the external world. It's really, really tuning within yourself. So let's jump into this clip, shall we? Abraham-Hicks found it on the Flying High YouTube page. When it feels like a struggle, give it a rest.
Absolutely having one of the best crews ever for myself. It's been magical every time I turn around. All of these magnificent little rendezvous, enlightenments, even during lunch yesterday, it was like a lot of aha moments. My question that I have...
Those manifestations feel good, don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
They aren't necessary for your feeling good, but they are evidence of your feeling good. So often, you want an experience in order to promote feeling good, when what we want is for you to understand that those good feeling experiences are evidence that you already do feel good. You feel the difference? I need to do this so that I can feel good, or I do feel good, and then this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. It's really an important thing to get clear in your mind. Yeah.
Yes. And that brings me to the now. That was yesterday's. And sometimes I like looking back at, for me, the evidence builds the confidence of allowing myself to go to new manifestations without this struggle.
Well, looking back isn't the best idea you've ever had, but go on.
I don't go too far back. Like yesterday, which is as far as I wanted to go on that and on that aspect. And there were so many wonderful manifestations during yesterday's. And I wasn't even aware of.
It's a good thing when you're in joyful moments to acknowledge that you are, and focus upon them, and practice the vibration of them, practice the feeling of them. It's what we call milking it for more. It's like accomplishing a more substantial vibration of it. And there certainly isn't anything wrong with revisiting that to reinforce that substantial vibration of well-being. In other words, if that's what you're talking about, anything that causes you to reinforce your awareness of wonderful things is always to your advantage.
And very much so. And that's where I'm trying to shore up and well up all of this abundance that's within me, to the point that it's easier for me to be receptive to it, because I'm really ready for so many different things to happen in my life.
Listen to your own conversation a little bit and feel in it the element of trying a little bit. You're really not separating the question from the answer that much. You're sort of doing what you were doing before you heard the last 35 minutes of conversation about all of that. So maybe you could redirect it now that you know what you know, because we know you received what we just talked about. So speak to your question briefly, without any examples, with just, what I want is, I want.
Okay. I want an abundance of financial abundance to support the particulars of this continued lifestyle that I am now so embracing and so joyous and so expanding upon.
So the whole time that we were having this conversation, what was in your question was abundance, money.
Yes.
Did you have any idea of that? Didn't sound like that. So why were you talking about what you were talking about? Because it's working.
Yes. Very much
because
so.
It's working. Now, what we want you to understand is the more you talk about those things that are working, the more the abundance that you've already asked about will work too. But now you're focused back on the question of the abundance, and now you got yourself all blocked off again.
Well, you asked me.
We know we did, because we wanted to get it out here in the open where you could see what's going on. In other words, isn't that helpful to all of you? You had this wonderful relationship experience with a whole lot of people. Your heart was singing. You're tuned in, tapped in, tuned in. So were they. There was everybody having a good time. On point. You are in the receiving mode of so many things that you're wanting, and you were living the manifestation of that alignment. And then now you want to talk about abundance, where you're not right now living the manifestation to the degree of the abundance that you're wanting. And now we're focused back on that question. Now,
well, the question, as a result of you asking, is, but the majority of my feeling has been, since I've arrived in Barcelona and on this cruise, is that
we know that's true. And since that is true, then your abundance is becoming more. Can that be enough?
Yes.
Then you're done.
Absolutely. I'm trying to navigate
an
unfamiliar aspect of letting. How do I not let go? Because what I no longer want to do is struggle, and I'm struggling here in these words right now.
It's all right. We sort of trapped you here because it's for the good of everyone.
But my whole focus is I no longer want to struggle. I'm giving up the struggle, path of least resistance.
Well, you know how you give up the struggle? You give up the struggle by never bringing up an unresolved desire again, by just bringing up the ones that are working.
This one is absolutely working, and I can feel it, and I'm dovetailing it with a lot of other things.
And it's not that long ago that was the question, and now that's not the question, because that answer is coming in abundance.
I'm in a particular place emotionally where, in this particular topic, I have not allowed myself to go before. And I'm unfamiliar with it. That's why I was trying to say that I draw from yesterday's experience to shore it up.
We're talking about the same things. So I'm unfamiliar. So hear this. You're really going to hear this clearly. So I have a desire for lovely relationships. And however it happened, we don't have to go back and talk about it. I have found mostly alignment with that subject. And so now I'm having lovely relationships. But I also have a question about more abundance, and I don't have the answers to the more abundance. So if you focus upon the happy relationships, the more abundance comes. This is what we mean when we say you got 10 topics, 9 of them are just the way you want them, 1 of them isn't. Most people spend all their time asking the question about that one, and they hold that one in suspended animation. Focus on anything where energy is flowing, and then energy flows to everything, even the abundance. But if you focus upon the topic where the energy isn't flowing as much as you want, then you slow the energy down.
I understand that, but that's not exactly what I was doing at all. My real question is how can I continue to expand upon the enthusiasm of living in this answer without feeling like I'm abandoning the desire? Because that's where I'm finding myself in.
There's your confusion, because...
Correct, I'm looking for clarity.
We'll just say it to you straight up, as loudly and as clearly and as directly as we can. You cannot abandon a desire. And attention to it isn't abandoning it, it's crippling it.
So how can I expand on my enthusiasm for that outcome?
See, so here we are. Here's the problem. When you increase your attention to a subject, when you're still more in the problem end of it than in the solution end of it, increasing it slows it way, 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 way down. So the answer is you got to be sure that you're in the receiving mode, and then in the receiving mode you increase it. Don't goose it up until you're sure which end of the stick you're on.
And that's where I'm at right now.
Does that make sense to you? This is such a good conversation. So we began today by wanting to discuss with you the difference between the problem end of the stick and the solution end of the stick, or the something missing end of the stick and something being present end of the stick. And we said to you, as clearly as we've ever said, you got to put separation, time separation between you being vibrationally active in the question and you seeking the vibrational answer. In other words, you got to put separation in that. So had lots of nice conversations about that. Everybody sort of gets that if you're hammering away at the question, then the solution cannot come. Then we talked about there are some aspects of your life where the solutions are abundant. And you said to us, I like thinking back on those situations where the solutions are already evident, where the solutions are already abundant, because I like to own that vibration. And we say, yes, do that on the subjects that don't activate any discord, because once you're already connected to source about something and you're already receiving, then anything that you add to that is just going to increase the momentum, and you're just going to have more and more and more and more fun on the subject. But if it's a subject where you haven't made that jump yet and you attempt to increase the momentum of it, all it does is compound the question and make you more resistant to the answer. Can you hear that? Because the human part of you feels like if you just get in there and go after it in a sort of determined way. But this vibrational world is a different world than the action world. The action world is about sort of brute force, and the stronger you are and the bigger you are and the more there are of you, the more you can move stuff around. But in a vibrational world, it's not like that. In a vibrational world, it's subtle and fine tuning. It's tuning. It's not going hard after things. It's tuning.
That's exactly where I find myself now, but it's new to me. It's very new to me. And
we know that it is, but what can be hard about this answer? Abraham, I have this thing that I've wanted for a while and it isn't coming. What should I do? Leave it alone. Well, I know I should leave it alone, but I've got this thing. I've wanted it for such a long time. What should I do? How can I make it come to me? Just leave it alone. Are you sure I should leave it alone? Because it feels like I should be hard after it. Well, you should leave it alone because your vortex has got hold of it and your inner being has got hold of it and it's working on your behalf. It's been moved to the universe's side of the placemat. It's been moved to the universe's side of the placemat. So now you can let go of it. And if you keep putting it on your side of the placemat, then you're going to keep doing a crappy job of it instead of letting the universe do a divine job of it. Just trying to get your attention.
Oh, you got it loud and clear. I'm all yours. I'm all yours.
Well, we don't have anything else.
Yeah.
That's it. Trying too hard is a human tendency because you've been, bless your hearts, you've been working so hard with your action. You've been offering so much action to compensate for energy that you didn't quite get figured out, you see. And so just know that anything that feels like a struggle, leave it alone because you're getting nowhere with it. If you're struggling over it, you're making the struggle more. Leave it alone. If it feels like a struggle, it feels like a struggle for a reason. You're barking up the wrong tree. You're working on the wrong side of the placemat. You just got to let it go. You just got to let it go. You got to say things to yourself like, well, that's it for me on that for now. I'm not going to think about that because I'm not making any progress. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let the universe work on it. And I'm going to focus on the things that make me feel good and on the things that make me feel powerful. And I'm going to tune in as often as I can. And I do that often. And I'm just going to let the good times roll. And I'm just going to follow my bliss. And I'm just going to follow the feeling. And when I get an impulse about that, if I do, and I'm sure I will eventually, then I'll follow that impulse. And until then, I'm just going to follow the other impulses. Do you think you're good at following impulses? Do you think that you get into the receptive mode?
I was yesterday. I couldn't tell the difference between my nose or my toes, and I didn't care.
So if you're in the receptive mode, if you believe that you've been in the receptive mode, and we know that you have been, so when an idea flows, seems like a good idea, yeah? Follow those ideas.
Yes, it does. And that's part of my dilemma, because one of the ideas of starting a particular business was initiated prior to being exposed to Abraham and yourself. And that is where I struggle, because I don't know what kind of receptive mode I was in at the time that I received that impulse.
Doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Okay.
None of that matters. When we were teasing with you in the beginning about how we wouldn't look back, you can if you want to, but we wouldn't look back. We don't look back because there is so much that is delicious to focus upon between where you are and where you are going. And so that's what has our undivided attention. And so anything prior to now is irrelevant because in this now, there are only two things that matter. What you're asking for, which is what you're summoning, and what you're doing in relationship to it. The more head-on you hit things, then the more you dig into where you are. The lighter you are about a subject, then the more you're called in the direction of what you want. So you just got to lighten up. Just be less self-aware Be less self-condemning. Be less aware of dilemma. Be easier about it. Be more trusting that the universe has it. Be more trusting in what's going on in the vortex. Be more accepting of what's going on in the vortex. And meanwhile, just enjoy the quieting of your mind. We know you can't quiet your mind all day, every day, but if you're accomplishing that for a few minutes every day, then that's enough. And it just gets better and better and better and better. You now are more willing to put some separation between the asking for something and the watching out for it and the just letting it be. Separation, we're talking about give it a rest. We're talking about give it a rest. If you hear somebody that you love hammering away about a dilemma, say to them, I love you so much, but give it a rest. Give it a rest. Just give it a rest. Give it a rest. And then say, because source is on it. You've done the work. It's in the vortex. Law of attraction is after it. It's queued up for you. And when you're ready, which you will be when you give it a rest. When you're ready, which you will be when you give it a rest. When you're ready, when you have really given it a rest. You will be when you're no longer talking about it. You'll be ready when you've given it a rest. You'll receive an idea, and the idea will be so intoxicatingly beautiful that nothing would be able to keep you from moving in the direction of that idea. And until that happens, give it a rest.
What'd you say here? Leave it alone if it isn't coming. Let the universe do a divine job of it instead of trying too hard. Isn't that a wonderful thing to know that you can start to do? You can let higher self work out a lot of the kinks while you just resonate with what is working and focus on what feels good, focusing on what's working, following the impulses, reading the feedback. You become like a true navigator of this reality. You're getting all the subtle messages. You're not just a bull in a china shop, bulling over and breaking everything in sight, trying to flail and move things around. I've done a lot of that in my life. I promise you, it just wears you out and gets you nowhere. Be in the receptive mode, she said. And not focusing on any of the thoughts of the past or the plans of the past or how something went in the past doesn't have any bearing on how it's going to unfold now. So anything prior to now, she said, is irrelevant. The lighter, the better you can get. The two things that matter, what you're asking for and what you're doing in relation to it, right? Whatever you're asking for, what are you doing in relation to it? When you have the impulse to do something, you're inspired to do something, to move something around, to take action, do it. If you're unsure, your energy feels off, you feel tired, don't. Stop. Go within. Self-care. Take a bath. Meditate. Have some food. Chat with a friend. Whatever it is, read a book. The lighter, the better. Be less self-condemning. Be less aware of the dilemma, right? Be more trusting. Source is already on it. If you've set the intention and that's what you've said what you want, it's already in your vortex. It already is there in your vibrational escrow, waiting for you to become in a vibrational alignment with it. And you'll be ready when you give it a rest. That is the past, the path. It is not just, shoot, ready, aim, right? It's like, take your time, do it in the proper format. Learn how to reformat the way you approach things, and you will find that it comes with so much more grace and ease. This has been wonderful, as always. I love you all so much. Hope this helps you on your journey back to remembering the truth of who and what you are. You are divinity in physical incarnation. You are it. You cannot lose. You can only pretend to lose. Stop flailing. Relax into it. Till next time, journey well. Love you so much. Oh, and I have a track for you. This is Cosmic Quest. Friends from a Past Life. I love the name. Love the song. Hope you enjoy. Also, before we cue up today's song, I wanted to let you all know that we have finally created the Game with the Universe on our website, where you can choose the first number that comes to your mind, and it'll pull up that episode number of the podcast. I've been saying this is a great way to co-create synchronicity and magic with your higher self for quite some time by doing this manually. But now if you go to positivehead.com/YO universe, there is a super fun and simple interface to play this game with your higher self. I firmly believe just by setting the intention to play in this way, it opens up the door for magic, and it's a synchronistic way to hone in on nuggets of wisdom out of the huge catalog of episodes that are specifically appropriate for you at this time in your journey to becoming the next greatest and grandest version of yourself. And it also makes for a super fun way to engage and invite friends, family, people on social media to check out the podcast as well. So be sure to check out positivehead.com/YOUNIVERSE and be sure to tell all your friends so they can play a game with the universe, which also helps the show to reach new people, which I greatly appreciate. And as a quick reminder, be sure to also check out positivehead.com/transformation if you're curious to learn more about Purium superfoods and why I take them every day. On this journey of becoming the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves that we have all embarked upon, I can't stress the importance of managing your physical vibration enough. And quite honestly, Purium has put together the simplest plan I've found to do so, and I'm sincerely excited to share it with all of you. Lastly, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear me constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.